Yo, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to another GS2 tutorial. So today, this is the third video I've made today, so today, again, let's talk about client flags and triggering server side. So as we've mentioned before, there's a client side and a server side. The client's happening on your system here, and the server side's happening through the actual server itself. So I think it's important that you know how to access the server side so that you can actually implement flags and security measures when programming in general. So flags are used to store data on a player or even the server. So let me open up my flags real quick, /open flags. As a staff member, you can see that. Here's a couple flags that I have already created. They could really hold a lot of different things. Like if you're a staff member, this should be Clientr though. There's a couple different types of flags. The two we're going to be talking about is client and Clientr. So Clientr can only be changed and modified and read on server side, and client can be read and changed on your own client. So it's important that you are using these appropriately because you don't want somebody using cheat engine or some sort of memory manipulation to actually change these flags in some sort of way. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using Clientr on the player so that they can only access this flag via server side. So we just keep it nice and safe. So let's start off by placing an NPC or just a block basically. So I'm going to create a class so that we can actually use it on these little test dummies. We're going to just be basically claiming a block, and we're going to do it server side. So let's create a new class, or you can just script directly in an NPC. That's up to you. Let's just call this block_claim. Let's call it block claim. Okay, so now we have a new class that we can use on all these. So let's just save this real quick. Let's copy this. And then let's go in here and actually change these so that it uses that. Okay. So I'm just going to duplicate it a couple times. Save it. Okay, so now they're all of these are using our new script now. So we already know how to do this. Let's call our client side tag here. Client side. So let's start off by creating some client side stuff. So when it's created, so this is a built-in function on created. So basically, right when this is rendered, let's just do this dot chat is equal to unclaimed. So now we should see, oh, let me get a semicolon in here. So now if we update the level, you'll see that they're all unclaimed. Okay. So now what else do we want to do? We want them to touch it to claim it. So let's do function on player touches me. And then now here's where it gets tricky. What we're going to want to do is trigger action. So now we're going to be triggering the server side. And for now, just put X, Y, and then here, this parameter, let's do claim. This is really important right here because this is how we're going to be actually knowing that when you touch it, it's triggering, the specific function. So now how do we actually go above the server side and do this one and trigger that? So you just create any old function, and it's always going to start like this. It's going to always start on action. And then this next part has to be exactly the same. So claim, when they touch it, it should trigger the server side and run this function. And this is completely server side. So that means we have access to Clientr now. We can modify and read it. So when they touch it, let's do Clientr dot interacting w. Let's just do interacting with is equal to this dot id. So this refers to whatever NPC it's on, right? And the ID is a built-in game engine ID per NPC. So this one might be 1, 2, 3. It's a good way because no NPC will have the same ID when they're created. So we'll know exactly, we'll trigger the server side and we'll save to the player who touched it this ID. So now let's see if it worked. Let's make the NPC this dot chat is equal to we'll say claimed by, and then we'll concatenate with this player dot. Okay, so now let me just update the level again. If we touch one, it says it was claimed by me, and this is server side, so everyone should be able to see this. And we just saved what you just interacted with, so we can use that. So let's open our flags and check this out. So you'll see right here, I've done some testing before, so let me get rid of that. Right here, this is what we just created and pumped into the player. So now we have access to save this flag and use it in any other script anywhere, anyway. So things like Grailits, things like money, things like health, something like Clientr dot, let's just say health is equal to 100. So something like that. Let's get rid of that. So now, just like that, we have access to something like this. So maybe we just sleep for 1 second, and then we do this dot chat is equal to an empty string. Let's save that, touch it again, and you see it goes away. Let's just do unclaimed. Let's just go back to what it was before. So we claimed it, unclaimed, claimed, unclaimed, just like that. So you can see how easy it is to trigger the server side, which is very useful for securing your data, and you know, it's just makes it easier so you can access this kind of information elsewhere in other scripts. So you can fully claim this. Let's say you don't want another person to actually claim it. We can set this NPC to be claimed, something like temp.claimed equals false, and then if they touch it, temp.claimed equals true. This dot chat is equal to temp.claimed. Let's just copy that and copy that. So now it's claimed. And if I got rid of this, maybe if it might reset, maybe it needs to update the level. So 0, false. This block is not claimed. No one's touched it. So now when you touch it, it's going to trigger the server side. Trigger the server side. It was claimed by me. And now it's 1, so it's claimed. So you can, you know, further implement your script to make sure that other people can't claim it. So like, let's say you know, it's like a little farming item or whatever you want it to be. You can really think outside the block. So now they're all claimed. And, you know, that's, you know, they're really useful. And I'm going to be going into depth with other tutorials when I actually teach you how to do like a specific thing. So to create a specific weapon, to create a specific staff tool, to create a panel, text system, any sort of that kind of a thing. So flags are super important. Make sure you're using them. They're super helpful to save data to the player. Perfect. So thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and watch the rest of the videos that are on the playlist, because I'm going to continue to be uploading to these GS2 tutorials to hopefully help those who can't really read the wiki, because the wiki is kind of a mess. So, you know, hopefully these are helpful, and I'm going to keep going. Make sure to comment what you want to see next. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going off random things until, you know, we get some more comments going. So thanks for watching, and good luck scripting.